Hello Aquarius, this is Victoria and I'm here with your October Tarot forecast. As always, we'll be looking at your love life, at your career and workspace, and we'll get you some guidance on how to best utilize the energies of the month of October. At the end, I'll post some messages from your person of interest to yourself, so definitely stick around for that. And a quick reminder that these readings are for Sun, Moon and Rising Aquarius, so if you're checking this for some time, please check out videos for your other placements as well. We will start with a quick oracle message. This is Angels and Ancestors, that pretty serious. October is big on the ancestor energy. The veil is very thin, so I feel it's very fitting to be getting a little bit of guidance from the ancestor side. And of course, if you're new, check out the description box for more information on my services and my content. Subscribe to the channel, and for anyone watching, I appreciate your likes and comments. All right, Aquarius, your message for this month is the High Priestess. Harness the mystic power. Very interesting. Yeah, so this is, and yes, we all have the mystic power, our own talents, aptitudes, gifts, but we don't necessarily take enough time to discover those and to develop them, right? Maybe you're like casually great at, I don't know, baking a cake once in a while for your family, and you don't see this as a talent, right? For you, talent may be something, really extraordinary, and you're like, yeah, I don't know, I'm just like making it once in a while. But for so many people, this could be like the standard that they may not ever reach. And when they, taste your cake or see how you do it, how you do your magic in the kitchen, they'll be like, wow, this is amazing, this is incredible. So it's all a matter of perspective, right? Or maybe you like painting from time to time in your free time, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna have an exhibition to show this, but who cares? You're enjoying it. And the interesting part is that, and why is this important, that when through expressing yourself artistically or with anything else that you're excited about, i.e., giving you a little bit of a behind the scenes story or insider information, that's why your gifts are. You definitely, first of all, connect to your soul, you connect to your higher power, and you're supporting yourself on the subconscious level. You're telling yourself that it's safe to be you, it's safe to be authentically who you are and to express yourself, right? And I know it sounds a little on the nose and a little too cliche, but it's important to be telling ourselves that, because at some point in our life, one way or the other, we were traumatized with having to do and to say what others were expecting us to, rather than what we felt like doing and saying, right? So harnessing is embracing it more. It's about, inviting it more in your life, right? Making space for the discovery, the exploration, and embracing the talents and how you can then integrate them in your life, whether it's for fun or it has some functional ability to it. All right, let's see what we have for Aquarius today. For your personal life and love life, you have the Ten of Wands. Yes, looks like you've been through a lot. Five of Wands. And Queen of Cups. Could be dealing with a water sign, which would be Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Wow, and we have a couple. We have King of Cups now. So this is for workspace. King of Cups. King of Coins. Lovely to see all the skins here. The World in reverse. The World is Capricorn energy. And then the advice is Knight of Swords. Three of Cups. Sorry, I'm kind of turned away from you. I'll try to change it a little bit. I have a dog beside me, just a disclaimer that I forgot to give. And trying to find my compromise between facing the camera this way and having the dog on the other side who wants to cuddle. Another king, look at that, king of wands. We're only missing one king here. By the way, the bottom of the deck is ace of coins. So the one we're missing is the swords, I believe. Yes, we have the knight of swords, but not the king. So overall, you know, they may be used for adding some, I mean, you are the air element and this is air element, but there is an opportunity to learn something new in terms of the way you think, the way you analyze information, the way you draw conclusions. And I'm immediately hearing that, you know, one of the most spread issues that people have in communication or building relationships is the assumptions that they make, where we feel like we know a lot of information when we don't, right? We hear some information, we maybe like read the body language or, you know, the context, and we create a whole story around it. And I feel like that is exactly what this is, or this is exactly who this person is. But it's not the case, usually, most of the time, right? And I'm not saying that you're wrong about everything, not at all. But have a little bit of that perspective of doubt, asking more questions, especially if you're interested in getting to know that person or learning about that situation, or maybe getting involved to help out or to solve it. Ask more questions, right? And it's also very much an air element. Inquisitive, and you know, that inquiry of like, tell me more, this is interesting. You're doing that, so what do you think it says about you, right? And sometimes it's okay to ask those kind of questions too, a little bit therapy like, right? Because maybe that's what you're thinking, right? But it's 100 times better than you are making that judgment, making that assumption for the person, right? Just based on a little bit of info that you've learned. So something here to learn and where you can grow and improve. Back to the spread. So for your personal space and love life, you have 10 of Wands, 5 of Wands, and Queen of Cups. So yeah, you've been through a lot. Could be specifically related to the relationship, romantic relationship, or it could be just anything and everything in life that used to be very overwhelming, and you've reached a breaking point where you're saying that I can't go like this anymore, right? And the interesting discovery is that a lot of the choices where you felt like you had no other choice, no other way, like you had to do what you did, you're now discovering that there was some pressure from other people, 100%. But it doesn't automatically mean that you don't have a choice, right? You're still making those choices. And it's not about beating yourself up for it, but it's about, first of all, breathing out, giving yourself grace, giving yourself compassion, right? And seeing what you can take from this, right? How you want to change it. Any kind of unhealthy or counterintuitive pattern that we have is a coping mechanism that serves us in some way. With what I've just explained, a lot of the times it's like, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, I want to be a good guy, a good girl, you know, like I just don't want to be asked extra questions or whatever it is. I don't want to lose a certain relationship, right? So it's important to walk along this path and understand in a compassionate way why that was working for you. Why did you want to keep doing it, right? And look at it that way, not at the kind of like the symptoms where you acted a certain way, but kind of like, how do I want to change that mechanism? How does it reconcile with the thinking that I usually have, right? Or with the situations I put myself into. And that will help you figure out a healthier way of dealing with things. And of course, even if you don't have a therapist or a coach, which by the way, I'm also offering coaching services, if you don't have a specific person to help you, there are lots and lots of resources these days where you can, of course, talk to AI, you can read books, you can watch videos and figure out what could be alternatives to what you used to be doing, maybe not even really consciously thinking that there is another way. In terms of your workspace and career, you have 2 kings. Cups and Coins. Both of them are feminine elements, by the way, the water and the earth. But they're kings, so it's like that alchemy of the masculine and the feminine. You have the world in reverse. And what I'm getting with this, that it's important not to rush yourself with whatever it is you're doing, right? Like, it may seem that if you are taking smaller steps, or you're not rushing to launch something to the market, that somehow your strategy or your behavior is different from what others are doing in the same field. It may at first seem like you aren't really good at this, or you shouldn't be doing this, or do you really realize what's at stake? You may hear that even from other people, but it's important not to rush and not to think that by going with one specific move you're gonna get it all, like this jackpot plan, right? We're gonna be kings just from this one move. It doesn't really work that way, and doesn't have to. Like, there's definitely a lot of magic in following the process and going step by step, right? And one day you'll see the whole picture, everything will come full circle, and you'll understand why it was necessary for things to happen that way. But right now it's important to trust, and it's important to take it step by step, day by day, see what happens. And finally, the advice is Knight of Swords, Three of Cups, and King of Wands. There will be people during this month that will be around you. You will meet new people, maybe, who will be on your side, who will be part of your team, and who will help you and guide you and emotionally support you through any kind of challenge or doubt that you may have. Just remember that those people are around you for a reason, right? Utilize that resource. And I know it sounds a little dry and maybe even transactional, but it is important. Like, the power of the community, of friendship, right? Of bouncing ideas off each other, synergy of that innovation process, right? The Knight of Swords here. I've already spoken about the way of thinking, right? The strategy, making assumptions. Have a little doubt. Tell yourself that you may not know the whole story, whether it's personal or professional context. And finally, the King of Wands, of course, is about following your passion, what you enjoy doing, what you're in love with, or who you're in love with, right? Without thinking like maybe it's a waste of time. Like, if right now this is how you feel, it's definitely not a waste of time. Even if it's in your life for a season, or if that person is in your life for a season, this is how you're supposed to live it out, to experience it. All right, last but not least, we'll get messages from your person of interest to yourself. Messages to Aquarius from that person of interest. We have Seven of Pentacles and Six of Cups in reverse. So your person has had some childhood fears around, your dynamic and what was happening. And of course, it doesn't have to be like for like, but somewhere they felt insecure. They felt like the future is not promised. That's what I'm hearing. Like, the future success of this relationship is not promised. And thus, like, it already puts them in a melancholic state. Like, I don't even know if this is worth pursuing further, right? Or at least this has been a pattern, but now they're putting it aside, or they're, telling themselves that this is not the reason to stay or leave, right? And there's always going to be some doubt, right? Whether the person stays with you or not, because we all have free will. But the important part is to show commitment, show dedication regardless, right? Plan the life together, do the life together. And I don't even want to say hope for the best, but see the best in every moment, right? Just savor it day by day, see what happens. That's the adventure, that's the wondrous part. And that's also where you get to harness your mystic power, right? Because if you met someone that you feel really deeply connected to, that is your soulmate, and they're in your life for a reason, right? Your person definitely sees that connection with you, that the two of you are teaching something each other, something very important, right? And they don't know what the future holds. But at the moment they choose you, they choose to invest in you and this relationship. All right, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today, Aquarius. I hope this was useful. If so, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, bye.